It is springtime, and a lot of plants are growing, putting out leaves. Some are flowering, some are just starting to sprout from seeds. And one of the things I love to do with my class in the springtime is plant seeds. Today, we're going to look at some different kinds of seeds and talk about what seeds are, what seeds do, and what kind of seeds we eat, and how you can plant some seeds in your house, even if you don't have a garden or a yard, that you can grow some seeds this spring in a small part of your own house. Now, a seed is like a baby plant packed inside of a box with its own lunch. Inside the seed's shell is the tiniest beginning of a new plant, surrounded by starches and sugars to feed it and help it grow until it has enough leaves and roots to make its own food. But that starch and sugar can also be eaten by someone else. Sometimes the seeds are inside more food that we may like to eat too, like rose hips. Sunflower seeds are a great snack for birds, people, and other creatures. We can eat the seeds of pumpkins, too. What other kinds of seeds do we eat? Do you like popcorn for a treat? There are many kinds of beans people grow to eat, and those are seeds, too. When we have beans with rice, we're eating two kinds of seed. Rice is the seed from the kind of grass, and their seeds are called grain. Quinoa is another kind of grain. So are oats, barley, and wheat. If you eat bread, crackers, or chips, you're eating seeds that were ground up into flour for baking. First, a farmer harvests the wheat while the seeds are still on the stem. Then the seeds are broken off the dried stem, and their tough skins are cracked. Small amounts can be done by hand, but most flour that we buy in the store is processed by machines. The grains of wheat are collected together, shaken against each other while the skins are blown away. This is called winnowing. Some winnowers use the wind outside or a fan. Here, Farmer John is using an air compressor below the colander. When the grains are clean, they're bagged up, and we bring ours back from the farm to grind into flour for baking bread, pretzels, muffins, pizza, and cookies. Some plants can grow in other ways besides starting from a seed. Here's a food that we eat the root of. The root of this carrot is too old to eat. You can see the extra little roots that were growing on its main taproot, the orange part. That's the part that holds the plant firmly in the earth so that the stems can reach high to the sky and the green leaves can collect sunlight to make their own food with. There's other foods that we eat that come from the underground part of plants. Can you think of some? There are different kinds of underground plant parts. Carrots and radishes, beets, and parsnips have thick taproots like this. Potatoes, like this purple one, grow on plant roots and store food for new parts of the plant. You can see the little rootlets going down and the new leaf sprout that's headed up. And all of this is holding food for new parts of the plant to grow. The yacon is another kind of tuber. It comes from South America, and it's sweet and crunchy. You can see the fat part in the middle, the root end, and the part where the stem will come out. These are delicious. Now, because this carrot is so old, I'm going to cut it up for compost. But I can still grow a new plant from the part where the root meets the leaves. I'm going to cut just above most of the root and then just below most of the leaves. And this section that's left has all the parts that are needed for a carrot to sprout again. It has the root, the stem, and the beginnings of some green leaves. If I stick this in water for a few days, we'll see how it grows. Now, water also helps seeds when they first start to grow. When a seed first breaks through its shell, it's called a sprout. To start your sprouts, you're going to get a clean glass jar and ask for some seeds you can sprout. I'm using mung beans and sunflower seeds. But before I put them in the water for overnight, can you guess if they will sink or will they swim? Let's try the mung beans first. I'm going to put in one and see if it put in a couple. One sank, one floating. Let's try them all. Looks like most of them will sink, a few will float. What do you predict about the sunflower seeds? Will they sink or float? That one floats. Let's see what the rest of them do. Oh, it looks like most of them are going to float. They may not sprout. They might be too dried out. Some of the seeds you have at your house that are meant for eating might not sprout. You will have to experiment and find out. Leave your seeds in an out-of-the-way place where they won't be disturbed for 24 hours. So at the same time, the next day, you can pour the water off, and then you'll just keep them moist. Keep just enough water in the jar to keep them damp, and watch them for several more days to see if they sprout. When they start to sprout, you can either plant them in soil and watch them grow into bigger plants, or you can eat them as sprouts.